I didn't want to cook today, and I sure as hell didn't want to film today, but here we are. Discipline. Hi, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Hill's Kitchen. First of all, anybody who knows me knows I'm a HelloFresh evangelist. I would lay down my life for HelloFresh. HelloFresh has empowered me in the kitchen and has helped me cross over from being a bad adult to a progressing adult. Today, we're making creamy aubergine curry, except there's no aubergine because I left it in the fridge too long and she's moldy. And there is no mushrooms because I don't eat mushrooms. So, period. I also had a bit of an issue with Miss Vegetable Stock Paste. She decided to explode in the bag, unbeknownst to me, which created a very lovely mess. She tried it, but you know what? God is so good. I have extra ingredients in the fridge, so bloop, I have vegetable stock paste, so how about that? Because of that, this is gonna be a very quick curry. Like, this is gonna be the fastest curry ever created. Currently chopping the onions, which you will just have to take my word for because I can't get the camera down here. But you can hear it, so. Wait, am I doing this right? Hold on, girl. Thinly slice. I feel like I didn't do that right. Okay. I don't have to chop. That's what we're learning. I'm doing too much. We can get into the tea. As soon as I finish chopping this garlic, okay, girl. I will say, while we're doing this, and while I don't cut off my fingers while multitasking, old dogs can learn new tricks. I am proof of it because I was raised by people who did not cook, and thus I never learned how to cook. That didn't really seem like a big deal till I got out in the real world and realized you really gotta eat every day. And you really gonna have to figure that out every so many hours for the rest of your life. So I spent a huge portion of my life only eating out. So for what it's worth, I can tell you where to eat out in like every major US city, or at least the ones I've lived in, because I was like raised on fast food. But as I got older, I was like, you know, this isn't a good look. I want my kids to know how to cook. And that means somebody's got to teach them, and that starts with me. So this is me breaking generational curses. Shout out to Kenna, a friend / colleague was like, I'm joining HelloFresh, you want a free box? I said, yeah, whatever. This was February 2020. And I said, how hard could it be? And mind you, I had never cooked a day in my life, didn't own any cookware. And I forgot to cancel it because of the weekly boxes. So 2 boxes came back to back. So I had a ton of food. And then it was March. And I remember I came out of church and I said, you know what? Let me go on to Bed Bath & Beyond since I got a little extra money. Let me go on and buy a cookware set. I just feel like that's what I'm supposed to do because I would be foolish to let all these bags of food go to waste. Literally, New York went into lockdown 3 days later. And that's how I learned how to cook, me buying a cookware set so that all my HelloFresh wouldn't go bad in the fridge. And then just never canceling the subscription. HelloFresh is my rock. I'd die for her. I'd take a bullet, okay? Like, if anyone cares, the cook set I bought was by Miss Rachel Ray. Child, it was a good deal. It was like a 10-piece set, and it was like $100. It's like a starter kit, and she really did stand the test of time. She's so good, I had to take her across the country. I literally brought cookware over from the US to the United Kingdom. So here we are. The onion's cooking, we've poured the salt and pepper on her, we've chopped the garlic, and now we wait. If I was listening to the recipe, this is where I would add mushrooms, but I don't eat mushrooms. So today, in the first episode of Hill's Kitchen, I want to talk about comparison and how comparison really is the thief of joy. You know, if I could do my 20s over, not that I would, the 20s are the ghetto, but if I could, if I had to. I wish that I had been confident in my path. That's one of the hardest things about your 20s is like feeling secure in the season you're in. I feel like in this season of my life, it looks like, oh, she has it all together. That's amazing. Law school on the other side of the world. It's a sight to behold. But I had a lot of seasons of my life that were literally raggedy. They were not a sight to behold. There was a period where I was living on my parents' couch. There was a period of my life where unemployed for several months. There was another period of my life where I was unemployed for a year and a half. I had to move back home after college twice. Not only after undergrad for a year, but then a year after grad school. All that glitters is not gold. And in those seasons where my life wasn't together, it was very easy to get down on myself because everybody else looked like they had it together. They were in their dream city. They were working great jobs. Everybody was living their best life in, New York, DC, LA, or stayed in school. Most people were booed up, financially stable, like had their own place. Everybody was hitting all their milestones. And meanwhile, at 22 years old, I had an internship in London, and then after that everything just kind of like fell apart. I literally moved back to the US, and that's when I was living on a couch. I had no money, I had no job. I was unemployed for like 6 months, and then when I got a job in November, I was working at Barnes and Noble. It wasn't my life dream. It wasn't the greatest thing I've ever accomplished. I'm adding the garlic. But anyway, I felt a lot of shame and embarrassment. I just felt so forgotten, as if I did everything for nothing because I didn't see an immediate payoff in my reality, which sucks. It sucks because you can really get in your head and feel like, well, damn. Like, what did I do that for? I spent all that money on this degree, got all this debt, and I'm not doing anything. I don't see any progress. I don't see any motion. And we're gonna talk about why that's okay. Hold on. Miss Recipe, she asked me for some things. Ginger. Oh, I had to throw out the ginger because she too was molded. So skip that. All right, so tomato puree and the North Indian style spice mix. Now we're opening the coconut milk, and we have to put 150 milliliters of water into the curry. Oh, that would make a cute thumbnail. Wait. Yes. All right, I'm done. I ain't messing up my nails. That's what scissors are for. Okay, so what else? The veg stock paste, yep. The lentils and the potato chunks. Okay, anyway. Now at 27, I look back and I laugh. And I'm like, wow, I really stressed myself out all those years being worried that I wasn't good enough, wasn't far enough, wasn't doing enough, and wasn't on track. Just feeling like it was never gonna come together. And I feel like while that insecurity is natural to some extent, comparing yourself makes it 1,000 times worse. Now in hindsight, I wish I hadn't compared myself because I'm like, wow, there's no one I'd rather be. I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for my story. I'm grateful for all the ways God has developed me. I wouldn't trade that for the world. Like, would I go live that season again? No. But I'm so grateful that that happened to me just because of what it prepared me for. And we will elaborate that on a second. But look at my potato! Oh my God! No. The potato is fighting back. She's fighting back. The potato is not happy to be here. Hindsight really is 2020. Yeah, those were really tough seasons in my life, but I would do them again if I knew it would bring me here. You don't know what you don't know. Like, you have to let life play out. And I wasn't really willing to do that. Again, I felt forgotten. I felt behind. I felt like I was a flop. Only for life to happen, and I was like, oh, I'm not behind. This is just my story. This is just how it had to be for me. And so I said it to say that, like, literally embrace the season you're in. It's okay that you don't have it all together by 25. It's okay if you're not married. It's okay if you're not even booed up. You have nothing but time. And to convince yourself that it won't happen because it hasn't happened yet is silly. It can happen at any time. Made the most of Barnes & Noble. Made the most of being unemployed. Made the most of internships. Made the most of working retail. Was it my calling? Was it my destiny? No. But did I try to take it as seriously as I could? Yeah. And that's all you can do. It really is that Adele lyric where she says, let time be patient, let pain be gracious. That's a word. That was the root of it for comparison for me. It was my impatience. Because I felt like, well, if they could have it all together already, why can't I? If I did something different, that could be me. So where did I go wrong? Instead of realizing, yo, this is my path and I need to embrace it and make the most of it. Because you never know. You never know what's around the corner in life. Alright, let me get these lentils together. Oh, I have to drain this. Yikes. Here's what we do. I always pour it into a little bowl first. And then drain it from the bowl. Because lentils are so small, so cute, but so problematic. Because they love to make a mess. They love to make a mess. And now I'm gonna drain her. I always do it until the water is clear. And then I'm like, that's gotta be good enough. It's gotta be. So I feel like I missed a step. You know, like it feels too simple. Now maybe it's because I took out like half the ingredients, but I really feel like maybe I should recheck the recipe. All right, gals, it's nearly there. The curry has to boil and then simmer for 25 to 30 minutes. Is she boiling? She is not boiling. Very exciting news. I made cookies last night, so we have that to look forward to. As we've taken out all the vegetables from the meal. So we had to substitute it with something. Back to what I was saying. I realized I didn't want anybody else's life. I just felt like destination anxiety about my own life. By watching everybody else having it all together, that's kind of reiterating and reinforcing that I'm behind. And it's like, it reached a point where I just like wasn't even really on social media in those periods of my life because I was just like, I can't be on here looking at y'all. I need to be looking at encouragement. I need to be looking at things that bring me joy, things that make me happy, instead of being worried about what I don't have. Even when I got to seasons of my life where I technically had it together, like when I was living in New York, it was the trenches because of how hard I was working in grad school. I was working like 30-hour weeks in retail. I didn't have time for a social life. I didn't have time to date. I didn't have time to do nothing. It was just eat, sleep, work, school, church, repeat. That's all I was doing. I was living paycheck to paycheck. At face value, it's, oh my God, you go to Parsons, you live in New York. Oh my God, you live in Manhattan. It looked like I was living the dream. And in a way I was. But the reality of it wasn't fun. It was a lot of hard work. And I didn't miss living on the couch. Like I was like, oh, this is the come up. We're making progress. But at the same time, I had the good sense to recognize this season of my life isn't perfect either. No season of your life is perfect. Like there's always going to be something you're working towards. It literally is The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Like, you know, there's always gonna be another mountain. You're always gonna wanna make it move. Coming to terms with that made me realize like, oh, I need to actually find joy and gratitude in the season I'm in instead of being bothered about what I don't have. Yeah, there will always be people around you who are getting engaged, getting married, having kids, getting promoted, getting a brand new place, also stuff. But there's things in your life that you have to look forward to and to be proud of. That took a long time for me to get solid, like within me, to feel like, oh, I'm good regardless of what everybody else is doing. And it takes nothing for me to clap for somebody else, regardless of whether I'm thriving or not. I didn't get my first place till I was 26. So, you know, I'm talking about where it's only your name on the lease, baby, only your name. No roommates, no family members, just you, yourself, and you handling business. Now, had you told me that when I was in high school, I would have felt like I was a failure. I would have been like, now what did she do wrong? Why didn't I get my own place till I was 26? I'd be like, that can't be right. But now, had you told me my first place would be in London, and that my first place would be in like one of the prettiest, most like wealthiest neighborhoods in London, I would have been like, Well, maybe so. I'd be like, in that case, tell 26-year-old me to take all the time she needs. Everything happens in its own time, in its own season. Really funny story, you guys. Forgot to set a timer, so don't know how long the curry's been cooking, but period. So we're just gonna start it on the oven for like 20 minutes. That feels right. Sorry about the ticking. But anyway, it's old school. It's old school, okay? God had revealed to me that I would move to London when I was 19. Like, he revealed it then. So I knew I would wind up in London. I just didn't know when, and I didn't know how, right? It took a long time, 7 years, you know, the perfect number, 7. Did I know that at 19? No. But everything that happened between when God said that versus when it happened was very vital for my personal development and for my trajectory in life. I could not have handled London at any other point in my life. Younger me don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. It's responsibility to pay your bills on time. It's responsibility to pay rent on your own and nobody helping you. To have the discipline to like show up to shit every day and like be on time and be prepared, hit your mark, take it seriously. I didn't have the good sense to handle that at other points in my life. I thought I could, but that wasn't true. That wasn't true, girl. I wish I didn't spend all that time resenting the seasons that God was using to prepare me and to like sustain me. So I just say that to encourage somebody. If you feel like the season you're in is absolute garbage, I'm here to tell you it will serve a purpose when it's all said and done. It will not be in vain. It will not be in vain, okay? I had to go through some things like before moving to London. And now it's like London don't even feel hard. Like it has its challenges, but it doesn't feel impossible because of everything I went through. Cutting the lime, because they want to squeeze a lime juice. Things I would have told my younger self. I would have told her to like, relax. You rushing to get to some seasons that are going to require a lot of you, and that ain't nothing to play with. Like, you need to be okay with being where you're at. And I remember saying that to a friend a few months ago. And I just straight up was like, yo, you need to let yourself be 23. Because the things you're dealing with at 23 are meant for 23-year-old you. Please know that the things that are meant to happen in your life are still going to happen. It's not going to miss you. But you don't want the worries and troubles of future you. The things I was dealing with at 24, I couldn't have handled any sooner. The things I was dealing with at 25, I couldn't have handled any sooner. So yeah, you'll always wonder what if, how's it gonna look? But ultimately, driving yourself crazy about that is not productive. It's just plaguing you and stealing you of your present joy. I'm gonna look back on this a year from now and be like, child, it wasn't that bad at 27. You swear it's the wildest it's ever been, and then you grow up and more years pass, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad actually compared to this. I mean, I will say those years were genuinely a mess, and I do feel like this is a significant improvement, and I am actually happy. However, those seasons weren't in vain. You know what I mean? That pain wasn't for nothing. It was all preparation, and I wouldn't be able to handle anything that's happening presently or to come if I hadn't gone through that. This curry, she really cooking, you know? But it looks really good. It looks really good. She's thickening. She's bubbling. If I could help anybody, I would say the season you're in matters. Do not take it for granted. Be patient with life, because yes, she can really be a brat sometimes. It can really drive you crazy. But other times it can be so sweet. And you really can't have mountains without valleys. You can't have highs without lows. You need both. You can't think you're going to be able to handle the greatest moments of your life without also taking in stride the lows and everything in between. Not every day is going to be the greatest day of your life, but that's okay. Like, that's the point. Like, you can't get around that. There's always gonna be somebody that has what you want and like is doing something that you would love to see for yourself. But truthfully, that should inspire you instead of aggravate you. Don't envy them, because you don't know what they went through to get it. And it's like, nor do you want anything that doesn't have your name on it. That I have learned. You don't want anybody's path but yours. Coming to terms with that, what actually nipped that comparison in the bud. If I had known I had to wait as long as I did to live out on my own, but I would get an in-unit washer and dryer in London, you couldn't tell me nothing. Couldn't tell me nothing. I don't miss the laundromat days at all. I don't miss walking blocks, rain or shine, to do laundry. All right, we did it, Joe. We finished the curry. Wait, I'm gonna try it just so we know. Shout out to the ginger, the aubergine, and the mushrooms. I'm sure it would taste completely different if I actually use all the ingredients that they gave me. But anyway, let's just see. Wait. Oh, it's not bad at all. We can make that work, yeah. That's very good. Thanks for stopping by Hill's Kitchen. If you liked the video, please obviously like it, comment, subscribe. There's always food to cook, always things to get off your chest. So Hill's Kitchen will never die. It's just just the beginning. So that's it for now, and I will see you next week. So